Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and I am coming to you guys with my Week 2 team builder for the UBC versus the Los Angeles Clefable, or is it Clefables or Clefable? I don't know. I have it written both ways here. I don't really remember which way it is. Anyway, the Clefables, or the Clefable, are coached by its Gregulator. And Greg is new to the league this year, but seems like he has lots of experience, and he just seems like a cool guy to talk to. Has a good personality, so I do recommend you guys check him out. Anyway, looking at his team, he has Manaphy, Tangrowth, Latios, Donphan, Mega Aerodactyl, Klefki, Keys Thing, Salazzle, Miltank, Muck, Staraptor, and Electivire. So this is a really hard matchup, and sorry for the noise there. It's definitely a really hard matchup because Manaphy is a really threatening Pokemon versus my team. It can set up a lot. And, I have good offensive options for checking it. Like most times, I would just try and check Manaphy offensively and not bring anything that can set up on it. But the issue with that strategy is that he has Mega Aerodactyl, which does really, really well versus offense. Because most offensive Pokemon are not going to outspeed it unless I'm packing some sort of Choice Scarf user, which I'm not. Maybe that's a poor strategy, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's just sort of tough to prep well for both. We haven't started talking about his other offensive threats like Staraptor and Latios. Salazzle is also kind of scary, but I think there are Pokemon in this matchup that do better versus me. And anyway, so I've kind of had to do my best to deal with the threats that are in front of me, and I've asked for some help with this matchup, and I've gotten some good suggestions from folks like the Verd. But I'll be quite honest, I don't have very high expectations for this match. So as long as we don't get 6-0'd or something, I'll be pretty content. Like a 3-0 or less would be pretty awesome for me. So we'll just go ahead and hop right on into things. First off, we do have Mega Audino making her debut. Verbena is rocking the Wish Protect, Thunder Wave, and Thunderbolt. This set is designed to sort of deal with Manaphy. This is really my best option because Manaphy doesn't have a move to hit me super effectively. And I can rely on my natural bulk to take hits if it's at +3. The scary thing is going to be if it goes up to +6. Then it's really, really going to be hard to deal with. But we do have Thunder Wave to try and cripple it. If that's something that we can get off, Thunder Wave is only 90% accurate now. Thunderbolt is there to hit that Manaphy. It's not going to, it is going to break a sub even if it's max HP Manaphy. And then Wish Protect just to survive for as long as possible. And if we can Wish Protect and eventually he gets a paralysis, then we can follow up with a Thunderbolt, which would be pretty nice. We just need to make sure we dodge crits and things like that. So yeah, that's the plan here. As I mentioned, the spread is mostly to deal with Manaphy. We live a +3 Scald from this range. I guess I should EV it for Surf, but it's fine. We're gonna go with this. The nice thing, the one nice thing about this matchup is that Calm Mind Manaphy is kind of unlikely because I do have Politoed, which can be immune to Scald and to Surf and things like that. So if he's gonna bring a setup set, it really has to be Tail Glow with coverage. And something like Tail Glow Rain Dance is unlikely as well because the Energy Ball Scald coverage is not going to hit Decidueye, but a Scald Ice Beam coverage is not going to hit. That's not going to hit Politoed. I guess it technically doesn't hit Greninja either, but Greninja's a glass cannon, so not important. Next up, we do have the Benjamin, the Bronzong, with Stealth Rock, Heavy Slam, Light Screen, and Reflect. I'm not sure about Reflect in the last slot. I just haven't thought of anything that I'd like more. I could maybe put a coverage move such as Grass Knot on there to hit something like Donphan. That's like the only thing I can think of. I guess Earthquake's also an option. But Klefki, if he brings it, it's going to be likely to be rocking the Magnet Rise. And his other thing that gets hit by that is Electivire. So we'll see. I'll make a change, and I'll let you guys know. If I don't make a change, I won't let you guys know. But yeah, this is the main check to Staraptor, because Staraptor's a huge threat. I could probably put a little bit of Spadef in here to take Dracos a little bit better from Latios, if he chooses to bring that. But yeah, otherwise, this is here to get up rocks, get off Heavy Slams. Heavy Slam does good damage to Staraptor and Aerodactyl. And the reason that Light Screen, I think, is a good move on this set is because Bronzong does sort of lure in the Manaphy. There's very little that Bronzong can do to Manaphy. Like, he hit a Toxic on the switch in, so Toxic is not a bad move to put here as well. But I think Light Screen is better because then it, cuts the special attack of the Manaphy in half for a few turns. And then the Audino can deal with it quite a bit better. It can even deal with it if it's at +6 for a few turns anyway. So yeah, that's the Bronzong set. Staraptor switch in. Can also sort of deal with Arrow. Arrow's most likely going to be packing Crunch because it hits both my Bronzong and my Mew for super effective damage. It's probably going to be like Aerial Ace for the Decidueye, Stone Edge, Crunch, and then I'm not sure what it's going to put in the last slot. But yeah, that's the Bronzong set this week. So those are the defensive bonds, I would say. Next up, we do have a Life Orb Thundurus with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, and Thunder Wave. I was originally contemplating a Defiant set, a physically offensive set, because I could pressure him into defogging with his Latios and potentially get some nice damage, get some nice boosts. And also, it was sort of a cheeky way to check a Calm Mind Manaphy. But because Calm Mind Manaphy is relatively unlikely, I think Prankster makes more sense. Prankster will allow us to potentially hit Aerodactyl with a Thunder Wave if case I think is looking like a major threat. This coverage hits his team relatively hard. It is checked by Latios. I could pack like Dark Pulse instead, but I wanted Focus Blast so I could do as much damage as possible to the likes of Donphan and Tangrowth and Electivire. The nice thing is that we do outspeed a non-Scarf Latios, so we can Volt Switch on it, go into either Benjamin or Audino, if that's the case. But yeah, like Thundurus is just good because it's a strong Pokemon. It's able to revenge Manaphy if it's not Wakan Berry. And Focus Blast does good damage to the rest of his team. Like, a knockoff would have been nice for checking like a Assault Vest Tangrowth or an Assault Vest Electivire. But it's okay. We will survive without that. Next, we have Bane, our Nidoking, with Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Substitute. So I was thinking about putting Earth Power on this set to hit the Klefki, but because Magnet Rise is pretty likely, I thought Sub was a good play, because I can substitute on his Magnet Rise and then proceed to basically get a kill, because Flamethrower is going to 2-hit KO the Klefki. And if he wants to switch something in, it's going to have to figure out a way to break my sub first. So if he tries to bring in Donphan or something, we'll 2-hit KO it with Ice Beam. If he wants to bring in Latios, we'll pretty much 2-hit KO it with Flamethrower plus Ice Beam or Sludge Wave plus Ice Beam or whatever. Manaphy is going to have to take a big Sludge Wave if it wants to knock me out. So I think sub is pretty good. And there's another Pokemon that I could set up subs on. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Probably Miltank it could, potentially. Or probably not the Muck. Yeah, so it's really just the Klefki that I'm looking to exploit. Oh, it's also the Tangrowth. The Tangrowth doesn't have great options for dealing with Nidoking. So that'll be my play, and it'll help to take him out. It nearly gets a kill every time it gets a sub up, so it's worth it. And then I put just enough speed on here for to speed creep Miltank by a little bit. Miltank gets 236, so if he like puts 8 EVs into it to speed creep a speed creeping Nidoking, hopefully I'll still end up 1 point higher than him. That's the objective anyway. And put the rest into bulk because I didn't need to put it anywhere else. One thing I can do is make this a modest nature and not a other nature. I was contemplating some mix sets because superpower for the Miltank seemed useful, but Miltank is likely to be physically defensive anyway to deal with Entei. So Sludge Wave from a modest Nidoking does more than superpower. So I decided to drop that and I came up with a substitute set instead. Next up, we are bringing Pashmina with Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Spikes, and U-Turn. Hydro Pump and Dark Pulse really take care of the majority of his team. And Dark Pulse is nice because, like, I had Grass Knot with Grassinium Z, or Grassium Z, however you say it earlier, to smack the Manaphy. But Dark Pulse does nearly as much because I think it's still 160 base power, or yeah, I think it's 160 base power, and it's stab boosted. So it does a little less, but the thing that's really nice is that it can still smack an incoming Tangrowth if we choose to go into that. And in terms of a Pokemon that can revenge Manaphy, I still have the Thundurus. Again, you know, pending if it's a Wakan Berry or not. So yeah, that's the set with Greninja. Spikes are nice, just to pressure his walls like Donphan, and can slowly whittle down Electivire and stuff like that. And because I'm not bringing hazard removal of my own, if I can get more hazards versus him, and he does bring something like Defog, I can encourage him to get rid of my hazards as well as his. So that's pretty nice. The speed investment here allows me to outspeed Salazzle, and then just dump the rest into HP because not much else is needed. Then last but not least, we have making her debut this season, it's Mystique with Calm Mind, Roost, Will-O-Wisp, and Psychic. And I'm actually going to make this size Shock. In case he, for some reason, does bring Calm Mind Manaphy, we can Calm Mind alongside him and basically 1v1 him. And, you know, Synchronize, if he manages to land a burn on us, is going to also burn him, which is great. It neutralizes his leftovers. I'm not packing leftovers on my Mew. I'm packing Colbur Berry. For catching the Aerodactyl on switch in, or you know, if I bring in the Mew, he goes for Stone Edge, and then I follow up with Will-O-Wisp on his Crunch. I can survive the Crunch and get off the burn, which is pretty nifty. And it's also there for the Muck. Muck is a really big threat. I can go for Will-O-Wisp on that thing, and it can go for a Dark move and pop my Colbur Berry. And the combination of those two things is going to allow Mew to, I think it can pretty much set up on most variants of Muck. If it's like Stockpile or it has Pain Split or something, then we're in trouble. But otherwise, Mew is pretty potent versus his team. The main things that I would be worried about is getting revenge by something like Staraptor. But yeah, the Aerodactyl on its own doesn't have the damage output to deal with Mew. I can Will-O-Wisp it, Roost, and get back up to full, and then eventually take it out with a highly boosted Psyshock. Klefki can't do a whole lot to me. You know, it does resist the Psyshock, but all it can do is like Thunder Wave or Toxic. You know, Toxic would stink. But yeah, otherwise it can set up on a good bit of his team, especially once I get off a burn. The set was suggested by Verd. I had a slightly different set here that was pretty fun, but I think this is going to be more fun. So yeah, that is the team. And like I said, this is going to be a really tough matchup for us to win. I got my fingers crossed, but my expectations aren't too high. Gray just has a great team, and he has a reputation as a great battler. So do encourage you guys to go check him out. And also, I would ask you guys to check out my channel for other gaming and Pokemon content. So until the next time, I will see you all later.